It's an honor, but it's also an important responsibility for me to share my enthusiasms and my admiration for the work of the Media Line, and to note that in a world where the antithesis of what the Media Line represents has become the ordinary modality of so much of the news that's being shared, and that it's also become mechanized in terms of bots, so that the intention to disrupt the ability not just to be able to get accurate, truthful, balanced narratives is not only is that becoming more difficult, but to destabilize the ability of people to, as citizens, help to create a policy by virtue of their weighing in is what is happening. That there is, it's increasingly difficult for the ordinary citizen to have the raw material to make decisions and to resonate in their hearts with what it is that's being shared, so that they come to a conclusion. We can't have a democracy unless people can synthesize information and say, here I stand. And now we have the kinds of appeals that destroy even that impulse, whereby it's so much a matter of embracing this kind of tribal side of the divide, rather than being open to discourse, to dialogue, to sharing of perspectives, understanding another point of view, and being a human being that can function in a world that desperately needs the kinds of review of policy that will allow us to get out of what is a terrible, terrible situation here. When I was a big advocate for Eugene McCarthy, that takes me back to many years, and he was a great person who saw the overview in few frequently humorous ways that he would describe. And before he passed away, I married his niece, and I wrote his campaign song, and I stayed close to him. And he was asked not long before he passed away by my daughter, what do you think is the greatest threat to America? And he said something that relates to what we're discussing. Stupidity, he said. And those people that feed, well, whether it's stupidity or ignorance or confusion, so that something is happening in this administration that is so fascinating and so mesmerizing that the substance of what is going on and the context is obscured. That's a very sophisticated kind of infusion of ignorance, of inability to know. Well, in the midst of all this, where does a person like myself stand that sings songs that presumably in the history of Peter, Paul, Mary bring people's hearts together to be able to mobilize, whether it's in the civil rights movement or the anti-Vietnam War movement, or the anti-apartheid movement, or the women's movement, or the climate movement today, and you name the movement, we've been singing in it and about it. And my feeling is that there is a certain truth in emotional resonance that in which we can trust people in a certain way to have a sense of humanity when they share a musical moment. And I want to share that with you. But I have to, before I do, tell you one very short story about why the media line is really important and has made a huge difference in my life and in the Middle East. When I met Michael and Felice, I had a program at the time in the United States that is an educational social and emotional learning program called Don't Laugh at Me in a nonprofit called Operation Respect. And the idea was that we would allow children to grow up in an environment that was filled with caring and acceptance of differences and recognition of feelings and the tools to control and mobilize one's own self-esteem and feel the joys and the pleasures and the gifts of helping and reaching out to others in the classroom, in the school. And this was viewed as an anti-bullying program, but it was anti-bullying by creating a positive environment. Well, I was approached by somebody in the Ministry of Education in Israel. Said, we've heard about your work. By the way, we're now in 22,000 schools across the United States. We've been doing this for over 20 years. And she said, we heard about the work that you're doing, and we need that because of the troubles in our schools. Can you please allow us to use your curriculum? We want to translate it into Hebrew, into Arabic. And we never copyrighted it. We never charged for it. It was always to be shared in a democratic fashion. This should never be subjected to monetary considerations. And we said, sure. And we were on our way because she said, you know, the statistics on bullying and violence, emotional and physical violence in Israel are twice as acute and dire as they are in the United States, which was the case. And then her party got voted out and she was gone. And we didn't have the money to do this. I met Michael and Felice. Comes the Lone Ranger. There was an outbreak of violence in Akko, where the Arabic population, mainly of Palestinian derivation, and Jewish population had lived in relative equanimity for a long time. And all of a sudden, violence broke out. And it was shocking. But for a person with the kind of perception and understanding that Felice has, it was not shocking at all. She said, if you have children going to school in which they are taught that school, that's on your land, not their land. The opposite of the Woody Guthrie song, this land is your land, this land is your land. This land is not their land, this land is your land. Ultimately, this kind of reality is going to cause conflagration, and you should look into Peter Yarrow's, mentioned by name, program called Operation Respect. Ambassador Cunningham from the United States saw the op-ed piece that was simultaneously published in Al-Quds and the Jerusalem Post, which is, you know, groundbreaking. Looked into it, did the due diligence, and then contacted us and said, we're going to fund, you're going into 4 schools in Israel. 2 Arabic schools, 2 Jewish schools. Most of the schools in Israel are divided in that way. And we're going to, we had to translate the curriculum, not only literally, but culturally. And all the songs, we had basic songs. We did the basic songs, like Blowing in the Wind, not Puff the Magic Dragon, no. We Shall Overcome, Where Have All the Flowers Gone, This Little Light of Mine, I'm Gonna Lay Down My Sword and Shield, etc. I had to record them with David Broza singing the Arabic, Amal Merkis singing the Arabic version. We had, and then we went to these 4 schools, Amal Merkis and I, and David, and the Voices for Peace, and it was a pilot beginning. We went from 4 schools to 20 schools to 60 schools to 100. We are now in 63% of all the schools in Israel, both in the Jewish schools and in the Arabic schools. Of course, they have a few hand-in-hand schools, which they have joint leadership in both Arabic and Jewish schools. And now we are in Nablus. I just came back from Nablus, working with the education of the heart, which is what we're doing. It's not education of the academics, of the heart, the social and emotional and self-esteem for these kids who are in that refugee camp that started in 1948. Where they're now 3-4 generations of kids, and the main focus of their efforts, because the suffering in that refugee camp is so great, is to try to prevent the pandemic of mental illness. They have a kid that comes in every day. I saw him, spits at the teacher, and they just love him. And I walked in to this school, to this place. It's TYO, Tomorrow's Youth, and it's an organization, and it's subsidized by an American nonprofit. And they sang to me. They have 70 people on staff who have graduate degrees, and they're volunteers because they cannot find work, and 10 that are employed. And I walked in and the kids sang our anthem, Don't Laugh at Me, in Arabic and English. I mean, and that's our base point, and now we're going out. Not that we haven't been a little bit there before. Okay, so let me now sing the song, but let me tell you that if you could say, how have you in your life seen journalism move policy? If that's not policy, human policy of teaching what is essentially peace education to kids, happening because somebody saw the overview of the situation and excited the investigation of it and turned it into something that actively changed something on the ground. In all the work that I've ever done, I've never seen that happen. And now it's an appropriate time to once again acknowledge the media line, and specifically Felice Friedson, who wrote this op-ed piece for this, and it deserves a round of applause. They say that the tree of loving shine on me again. They say it grows on the bank of the river of suffering. Shine on me again. So weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup again. I sing and weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup again. Weave me the sunshine. Try it with me. Weave me the sunshine out of the falling. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup again. Say with me. Weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. It's logical too. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup again. Try it again now. Weave out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup again. You don't have to sing, but I want to see your lips move. Weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup again. Imagine what that means in our time. Weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Take the falling rain and turn it into sunshine. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup again. Okay, say it with me now, or sing it. Weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup. If you get confused, look at my lips. Weave me the sunshine out of the falling. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup again. Where is my target? If only I could heal your sorrow. Shine on me again. I'd help you to find your new tomorrow. Shine on me again. Now weave me the sunshine out of the falling. Try to do the words. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. You're getting it. Fill my cup again. You're not anonymous. I can see you. Weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup. Listen to this next verse. I've seen the steel and the concrete crumble. Shine on me again. The proud and the mighty, they've all been humbled. Proud and the mighty have all been humbled. Soon, oh Lord, soon, shine on me again. Weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup again. I know that takes a lot of energy. Weave me the sunshine out of the falling. If you can clap, clap. If you can't, I understand. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup again now. Only you can climb that mountain. Shine on me again. If you want to drink at the golden fountain, you're gonna shine on me again now. Weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup now like a prayer, just say it with me. Weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup again. Last time now. Weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. once again.
I think that's a first at the Overseas Press Club.